Hello and welcome to another episode of Homeschool Moms Unfiltered. We are your messy, imperfect homeschool mom friends. I'm your host, Amanda, and this is my dazzling co-host.
I don't feel they're very dazzling at the moment, but I am Megan. So thank you for lifting me up in my moment of technical issues today.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Right.
take it.
So it is the end of the year. And as always, it's chaos in our homes. There's just not enough time or motivation. Let's be real. So to address that, we have some unfiltered bites coming your way. It's still great content, but not nearly as long as our typical episodes. And then we will dive back into our full-length episodes and book clubs in January. So stick around, stay with us. We're here, but we're keeping it easy. And then we'll, again, like I said, see you for the full long episodes, and we'll dive back into a book in January.
Yeah, excellent. We're so glad you're here. So we have an amazing guest today who we'll introduce you to in just a moment. We do want to ask you quickly, though, as long as we're talking logistics and all things podcast, if you could just give us a like and follow wherever you are right now. We are not insecure human beings. The unfortunate reality of podcasting is that it all works off algorithms and likes and follows and reviews. So in order to reach a broader audience and do what we do, we just kind of need them. So yeah, wherever you are, like, follow, share, review, whatever that thing is, wherever you're listening to us, whatever social media platforms you hang out on, if you're on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, we are Homeschool Moms Unfiltered everywhere. So we're super easy to find. If you type us into Google, you literally can't get away from us. So wherever we are, if you just come hang out with us, it really does make our day, which is pretty awesome. So today we have an amazing guest, Jazz, who is a homeschool mom, an engineer, a STEM whiz, all of the above, and then some. And we're going to be talking about things that your STEM kids might need in their homeschool journey. And we are airing these around the holidays, thinking kind of holiday gifts, but it works all the time, right? There's never a bad time to explore STEM. So this is so outside my wheelhouse that I almost don't even have questions to ask, right? My kids did the snap circuit thing. They've done some stuff, but I have interest-led learners who've kind of gone off and done their own thing to a certain extent and found their own resources. So I haven't had to learn some of these things. So Jazz, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
I love it. And what do you recommend, right? As a homeschool parent, like let's start off with peanuts and we can go then into middle schoolers and teens and stuff like that. But at what age are you starting to introduce things like circuitry and hands-on STEM activities like that? And how are you suggesting to do that?
Yeah. So, it really can start as little as, they have some really fun little STEM baby toys like the Caterpillar that you can buy, for the 2-year-olds and stuff. They can connect them up and they can see they can see how if you connect up different things and you press the different buttons, it's going to make something happen. As you get into the older kids, once you hit 5, 6, that's a great opportunity to start kind of introducing magnetism by giving them some magnets that they can play with. They're old enough that you can be like, hey, don't put the magnets near the TV, or please don't bring them near my computer. And you can buy kids magnets, obviously, that are a lot weaker, a lot less likely to wig out your electronics, wipe your computer, wipe your hard drive, all the fun things, right, that can come with these kind of products. But, at that age, you can give them those magnets and they can, just watch them pushing each other away from each other. There's little plastic pots that you can buy that have iron filings, and they can put the magnets on them and they can see the iron filings inside move, and those are sealed up. So, you're kind of perusing Amazon, you see these little magnet pots or little kids magnets. Those are great to introduce because at the end of the day, electronics all work on the principle of electromagnetism. Maxwell's laws really rule all of electromagnetics, which at the end of the day is really how magnets and electricity and static electricity and everything work. So even introducing a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old to a fuzzy blanket that just came out of the dryer and it's really staticky and it's zapping and everything, and you just take a little pot of sand or a little pot of iron filings and you run it over the top of the fuzzy blanket, you can see how the electromagnetic forces are actually acting, because you'll see the iron filings or the sand inside the pot reacting to that. At the same time that they get to that age, if they're kind of interested in how does a circuit work, they do make circuit Play-Doh that's a conductive Play-Doh they can buy, and it comes with little LEDs and stuff that you can plug into it. And so they can make little Play-Doh creations that are actually circuits. And so they can kind of explore it that way. I believe that there is a beginner snap circuit, kind of a snap circuits junior, that's for the 6 to 8 year old range. So once they hit 6 to 8, then you can purchase a snap circuit kit and kind of introduce it that way. And then as you kind of move beyond that age, then there's all kinds of other resources that you can use. But really, it's really playing with those forces, playing with those static electricity and everything that you just see around your house in the normal everyday, that can really get a kid interested in all of that. And if they're interested in circuits, if they're interested in electronics, get them one of those makeup pots, put some sand in there, get them a fuzzy blanket, and just let them have a blast.
I love that. So in our home, for those who are longtime listeners, but my kiddo is 10, about to be 11. And when he was younger, we definitely got the random circuit kits, right? There's like, make some kind of a little robot, and there's a game, like an electronic board game, one where you put it together and you're completing the circuits and all of that. And he loved those, but he's kind of outgrown those. As we've talked before, this is not my wheelhouse, like this kind of stuff. I don't know at all. What do we do next, right? Because those really fun kits, for the most part, they kind of tap out at that 8 or 9 year old range. And even if they don't, it doesn't take long before it seems like you've gotten through all of them, and you can only buy so many like solar panel mini Mars rover things that are supposed to do, I mean, like, what do you do with those like 10-plus-year-old kids who want to kind of take it to the next step, but you definitely need hand holding? Because as a mom, I'm not like, hey, we can make this circuit board thing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where you can go and, if you've done more of the basic circuits, you can move into the more advanced snap circuits that have the 300 and something activities, and go through that and start kind of connecting. You want to find a circuit kit, whether it's snap circuits or another, but one that connects the circuit diagrams with the actual circuits, so that they can start learning what a resistor looks like on a diagram versus what it looks like on the actual kit. And those can be a great way for your student to start to learn how you can actually connect up an electronic circuit, how you can actually go from a battery to a motor, and how that motor works. And then if they start moving beyond that and they're really, really interested in digging into this stuff, Tinkercad does allow you to sign up for a free account. And through that, you can actually access electric circuits. You can it gives you a breadboard. You can pull in a breadboard. So obviously, not everybody here is going to know what a breadboard is. So let's kind of just get into that really quick. So back in the day, when people wanted to do electronics, and it was actually really common among the people who were more electronically focused, that they would actually steal their parents' wooden cutting board, or they'd just go and buy a wooden cutting board or a breadboard. And they would hammer nails into that breadboard, and they would take their wires and they would actually wire up their circuits on the wooden cutting board. And eventually in the 1970s, 1980s, kind of thereabouts, someone got the idea to, let's just put some metal rails inside some plastic, and we can use those for our prototype circuits and stop stealing mom's cutting boards, because mom's kind of starting to get mad about that. So it's essentially, you wind up with the invention of the plastic breadboard. And now there are these little plastic boards. They have all these little holes in them, and you can plug electronic components into them and build circuits on these boards in order to do various things. Well, in Tinkercad, they can take a digital version of one of those breadboards. They can plug in batteries. They can plug in LEDs. They can build a full circuit. It does have an Arduino simulator, so if they want to play with an Arduino Uno, they can plug the Arduino Uno into the circuit in Tinkercad. They can build it all. And then once they've built out the circuit that they like, then, you can give them access to, okay, well, then we can go to Amazon and we can actually buy the LEDs, and we can buy the Arduino, and we can buy all of these different pieces. And now let's actually put it together and do something real. So if you have a student who's really moved kind of beyond the snap circuits and beyond all of that, then introduce them to Tinkercad. Start playing around. There's various tutorials in Tinkercad that walks you through how to do how to build a circuit, how to wire that up. And then at the same time, if they've been building circuits or if they've been kind of following along with the snap circuits and learning how to read those circuit diagrams, one of the fun things about like snap circuits and a lot of the different circuit kits is that they actually have the circuit components written on the piece. So if you look at the resistor, there's actually a resistor drawn on that part. And so they can see okay, that's that resistor. And so I'm going to build a parallel resistor this way. And that's how those components are supposed to look in a diagram. And so if they've been kind of paying attention to that, then you can go into the Arduino site. You can go to Digilent and they can start kind of building out some of these projects that are on these websites in their Tinkercad, because Tinkercad gives them access to be able to do it digitally. And then you can get them the Arduino. You can, buy them an Arduino Uno. You can buy them a microbit. You can buy them one of these, programmable circuit setups. And then they can plug those things into a breadboard and really kind of create their own circuitry. And there's been some really fun things that kids have done with this kind of stuff. Some of them have done chicken coops that are all fully automatic. Some of them have done, they've taken an Arduino and they did Christmas lights where you can play the music on the, on the phone and they can play the music outside and then it actually the lights light up in time with the music. You can do that with, a basic Arduino or the other type is the PIC32. I kind of mentioned the Arduino because it's available in Tinkercad, but you can get a PIC32 and a PIC32 is a little bit more advanced, but there's tons of tutorials online for your kid to go through and go, okay, this is what I want to use. So if they've moved beyond kind of the kits and the toys, then now they can do that with a real microcontroller that they can then, plug into something outside, or they can use it to build an RC car, or they can, build some sort of a robot and kind of get involved in a robotic club in their area and start kind of using these things.
That is amazing. I'm sitting here listening to this and thinking that if my boys listened to this right now, they'd be sitting there going, I was born to the wrong mother. Like they would have, I feel like if they were in your house, Jazz, they would have the best time ever, right? Like, here's my mother trying to figure out how she got locked out of Netflix. And then Jazz is like just rattling all this stuff off the top of her head. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Amazing. I love that. I feel like your kiddo is probably going to have the same reaction, Amanda.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll need to make sure that we actually type these words up in the show notes because I'm going to have to go back and look them up. And I don't even know how to spell it, let alone what it should even look like when I pull it up in Google. I have no idea.
Okay, so if you're listening and you're in that same position, here's the best part. Jazz offers tutoring. So virtual tutoring from anywhere in the world. So you can log in and connect with Jazz. So if you're listening to that and you're like, that sounds amazing, my kid would love that, where the hell do I start? Okay. There will be a link in our show notes today as well for how to connect with Jazz. Okay. So if you have a kiddo who wants to experience deeper learning with STEM, and this will air during the holidays, maybe this is some of their holiday gift or whatever, and you want to kind of enrich that gift by bringing it to life with somebody who's going to throw as much passion into it as you just heard Jazz give off in the last 10 minutes. Yes, you can book one-on-one sessions. Jazz is on OutSchool. She offers tutoring on a huge range of STEM and engineering topics, whether it's circuit boards, wiring, soldering, engines, all of this, right? All of it. So Jazz is amazing. So we have a coupon code for you. It's a horrible coupon code. It's really, really long. It's kind of one of these things where the system spits one out and you look at it and go, how is anybody supposed to use or remember that? So I'm going to read it, but it's in the show notes. Go grab it and copy and paste it because it's terrible. So it's of Cure Jazz STEM 10. OFCURJAZSTE10. Copy and paste it. It's terrible.
Yeah, for sure. Since we're doing coupons, who doesn't love a good coupon? I do. We want to remind everyone, if you probably heard us say it a few times over the last couple of weeks, but if you're just tuning in, we do have a coupon for our Patreon memberships. So they are on sale right now through January 4th of 2025, depending on when you're listening to this. So you can get 50% off your first month as a Patreon member by using code BITE, that's BITE 50 at the checkout. So there will be a link that'll also be included in our show notes. And then there'll be a link that breaks down all of the awesome things you get at the different levels of membership in our Patreon community. But we would really love to have you over there. We really appreciate the support, right? It helps us pay for the editing software and the recording software and all of that jazz. And maybe eventually we'll actually make enough for it to also cover a coffee or something. We're not there yet, but maybe we'll get there
someday. But it's just fun too. I mean, we hosted Mom's Night Out last night virtually, and we got together with a bunch of moms. And the story is the same across the board, that trying to find secular progressive community in the homeschool community is hard. And so if you can't find your friends locally, find them online, right? And so that's the community that we've built, where you can come and just find like-minded homeschool parents and chat about homeschool and life and kids and travel and food and whatever, and just kind of find that companionship on a road that can sometimes be a little bit lonely otherwise.
No, for sure. Absolutely. We are working hard to build this community, like you said, of like-minded people. And so we would love to have you come and join us. And if we make enough money off your membership to buy a coffee, even better. Again, we would like to say thank you to Jazz for joining us. Clearly, Megan knows slightly more because she's a little ahead of me in this game. I know nothing. And so we would have been completely lost trying to do this episode without you. We really appreciate you coming and joining us. That's all we have recording today. But if you have specific questions, especially about circuitry or that kind of thing, and truly all things STEM, please feel free to drop them in the comments. If you want to keep it private, you can always DM us, but you can put it in the comments anywhere that you listen or on our social media pages. And we will be happy to loop Jazz in to make sure that we get your questions answered with someone who actually knows what they're talking about, not my random, I hit Google and this is what AI told me. Yeah, I think we hope you have a great week. You know, it's hang on, hold on. We're getting there. We're going to make it. December is hard, but we're going to get through it. In the meantime, happy homeschooling.
Yeah, happy homeschooling. And thank you so much, Jazz.